One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time. Well, good morning. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I want to talk to you today about abundant life. I hope I'm not turning you off, but it's kind of I've been on a kick about abundant life lately, and I want to share some more with you today about that. And in our studies in the ministry and even in the business world, we're told that life is an attitude. And so I want to practice abundant life, and I want to share with you what I think has given me an abundant life, if you don't mind my personal references today, because I have worked on my attitude, and I've tried to always be positive, not the power of positive thinking, but just to be positive. I built up a resistance against discouragement to the point that sometimes my friends had to tell me, when I was discouraged, I didn't even know it myself. But first of all, it's mentality. You've got to have the mentality to believe that life is fair and there's enough for everyone to have all that they need. Now, that may be questionable today in this time that some people are going through with, but let me tell you, we all were born into this world. We were given one life to live, and that's our take. We give that life. It's what we do. I know that sometimes a person's surroundings and circumstances will cause a little bit of disfavor, but really and truly, we live in America where actually anyone can pull up themselves by their own bootstraps if they want to. That's why the migrants are coming here, because if they see an opportunity in America, and so be it. Now, I'm for all of those that are coming legally. Some come legally, some come illegally, but those that are coming to better their life, I feel like they ought to be welcome, and I welcome them. And I say there's enough here for all of us. Now, if those that came to take advantage of us and to rape and kill and to do harm to us, I'm certainly against that. But I'm glad that America has opened the doors today for those. And I believe, I have an attitude that there's enough for all of us to have what we need. You know, sometimes people think that my gain is their loss or my loss is their gain, but that's not the way it works. God is fair and balanced. Jesus said in a Sermon on the Mount in chapter 5 of Matthew, verse 45, he said, pray that you be the children of the Father in heaven, because he causes the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and he sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. God is so fair. He does not have favoritism. He sends the rain, he sends the sunshine, and we all have a fair advantage to take advantage of that. And next of all, I want to encourage you to be grateful. You know, rejoice when others are blessed. Be grateful. As a pastor, I've so many times my people have come to me so ecstatic and so almost just gleeful, really, and giddy about the fact that one of our other people was so blessed. They had received something that was unthinkable, and everybody was rejoicing together because they were all blessed. So being grateful is so wonderful. I remember Jesus one day, 10 lepers came to him to be healed of leprosy. And one of them returned and came back and bowed down and was thanking him. And Jesus said, what? Didn't I heal 10? Where are the 9? Only one had come back to show gratitude and thanksgiving for what Jesus had done. Oh, let's be grateful in this life, and we will live the abundant life. And I'm full of personal references today, but I'll share with you before I'm finished with this devotion. But right now, I want to talk to you about smiling. Just smile. That's one of the first things I learned in school in the health class one day. The teacher told us it took 68 muscles to frown and only 12 to smile. And so I didn't just smile that day. I was born to smile. My father was a person that smiled. I've never seen him when he was awake and conscious if he wasn't smiling. He was always smiling, had a great attitude. In some of his greatest losses of his life, he just said, well, if you don't have it, you can't lose it, and went right on it. Never bothered his attitude. Now, you think I'm boasting about my own father, but I'm telling you, if Joyce was here, she'd say amen, the greatest man that she ever knew in her life. So I grew up in that atmosphere of being grateful and smiling and being happy. Just be happy and start your day off right. I know we pray repetitious prayers sometimes, and Jesus said some people stand on the street corner and pray prayers to be heard in repetition. But I like to pray sincerely, and I know that we sometimes go through a little bit of a habit, but many times I notice, and I know my family have heard me many times to say, God, I thank you for the prospects of a great day, a beautiful day, a safe day, a prosperous day. I'm believing you for a great day, giving thanks even before I had a chance to live it and experience it. So that's what I call abundant life. And I want you to have, Jesus wants us all to have that abundant life. Here's another personal story. When I was 25 years old, I moved my family to Tishomingo, Oklahoma to pastor First Assembly. And I moved in one day, and the next morning a young man knocked on my door and said, are you the new pastor here? And I said, yes, I am. He said, well, my baby was stillborn last night in the night, and we want to have a funeral with him for him the next day or two, and I want you to preach the funeral. That church had quite a representation of a pastor being the pastor of the whole city, though it was more than one church there, many churches, but our church had a great reputation, and so you just automatically was expected to visit people in the hospital and preach a few funerals and that. So I got introduced to Mr. Smith that day, the funeral director, and it comes to pass that I preached a lot of funerals for him because it being the county seat, that people would be shipped back for burial, and they said just put it on our bill and just find a preacher to preach for it. So many times I was called on in a hurry when he has in a tight, he couldn't find a certain preacher, he'd call me. One day I was mowing the grass. I had on my hush puppy shoes and my work clothes, and my wife ran out and told me, Mr. Smith needs you right now. The Methodist preacher had supposed to preach the funeral, and he got excited about the deacons when they told him, if you'll go to Oklahoma City with us, we'll buy you new furniture for your office for the new church we had just building. So he got excited and left town and forgot the funeral. So he said, I'll hide you behind the flowers. He said, it's a ship in, and we're going to bury them in a different community. So come in the back door, and all they'll see is you from your waist up. So I made it, and I did that. And so I preached many funerals for him. One day I said, Mr. Smith, how do you funeral directors pray about business? He said, well, we can't pray about like you can about business. We just say that we said if there is some, we hope we have our fair share. And I'm going to talk to you about opportunities, taking advantage of seizing the opportunity that you have that comes before you. So Mr. Smith said, that's all I do. I'm prepared, I'm willing, I want to do it, and if it comes my way, I want to do my best. My son Jerry and I used to be in a sideline business, a wonderful business, but sometimes there was great money in it. And we would go off to big meetings, and Mr. Orr owned the company. And he was quite a businessman, and he told us, he said, guys, there'd always be a new recruiter for in training of one of our meetings, promotional meetings. And I remember Dick Orr said, guys, don't ever work for money. Please forget money. Don't work for money, but work for success, because money follows success. And I've always believed that, and I know it to be true. If you do anything and do it well, you'll be a success. And so we need to take advantage of the opportunities we have, and we need to make the most of every opportunity. It's easy to fall into a rut and say, well, what might have been, could have been, should have been. But really, the ball is in our court. It's what we do with this life that has been afforded us, And therefore, we have equal opportunity. And I believe we can have that abundant life because Jesus intended for us to have it, and we can have it. Quickly, I want to share with you that we build friendships as you go. I tell you what, I love friends. I like to be a friend. I like to have friends. Sometimes I jokingly to my friends say, it costs to be my friend. Because I'll be calling on you sometime for something. It may cost you to be my friend. And it may cost me to be your friend. Sometimes we drive hundreds of miles to celebrate 50th anniversaries or to attend a certain funeral. We've built a relationship and a friendship. In fact, Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 22, verse 1 said, a good name is more valuable than success or prosperity or money. It's better to have a great name. And then finally, I want to tell you, build on what you have. Just take what you have and build on that. I'm going to share with some success stories with you real quickly. I grew up in southern Oklahoma. The big town where I was Ardmore, Oklahoma. I heard my dad say and many say during the oil boom, it hit here, out here and around Tulsa, but it also hit southern Oklahoma. They boasted about having 20 multimillionaires in the town of Ardmore, Oklahoma, but they had a lot of simple, poor people that never had the advantage of an oil well. But I want to share with you three things real quickly that my life experience, and I had this with my father. My father was always bringing home wonderful, wonderful barbecue. When he'd go to Ardmore, Oklahoma, he'd bring back a barbecue for us to enjoy. There was a black brother over on the railroad tracks that had a barbecue place. He made barbecue every day but Sunday. Every day. He didn't have a sign out front. He didn't advertise, but he had built a business of barbecue. He told my dad, I make barbecue every day, and I stay open till it's all gone. But the people begin to come, and he'd be sold out. So he trained those people to come early because he just made so much that day, but he made it faithfully every day. And every day he was sold out because he made good barbecue. He did what he did. He did it good. He told my father that he put all of his children through college on that barbecue stand. He lived out of it and paid their way to college. There was a Hispanic man that pulled a tamale cart, pushed a cart all over town. He had about a 4 square block where in the business area where he pushed his cart. And you could make the block and find out if he was there. If he was there, he had tamales. If he didn't, he had either sold out, he had gone to get another load. His wife was home making tamales, and he was selling them on the street. It's all they did for a living. They furnished themselves a living, and he too told my father that he furnished his children a college education out of that tamale cart because his wife made the tamales, and he was faithful to sell them every day that he could sell them on that street. My father brought them home. I wish I could find some like that now. I can't find that good old-fashioned corn husk wrapped tamale right out of that kitchen of that lady that made them that day. It was so wonderful. Another man shined shoes in a busy barber shop, and he also was a success just as a shoe shine because he found what he could do and he did it well. We just have to build on what we have. And I know what I'm saying. You said, well, have you ever worked? Oh, yes, I've worked. I'd rather work than fish. But I've been a workaholic, but at the same time, I've been faithful in the ministry. I've tried to do well what I had, the gift I had. And I believe that God has given me an abundant life. I'm not boasting. I'm encouraging you to do what you can with what you have. And have a good attitude and seize the moment and be grateful and be happy and smile all the way, and you'll be successful and you'll be blessed. And I know we're in little trying times right now, but I believe we have a great future. If Jesus tarries, we're going to have a great life. We're going to have a great future together. And so I want you to be blessed and just live it one day at a time. I won't bother you with another song, but just remember, it's one day at a time. Lord, help me and show me the way. one day at a time. God bless you. Amen.